All right, welcome to the Wellbeing Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Scott Frost, and I'm joined by a frequent guest host, my girlfriend Lauren of the Bikini Experiment, and we are joined tonight by Samantha Rowland, who is the Pancake Warrior. Sam has a popular health and wellness blog called
Pancake Warrior Fitness.
Yeah, Pancake Warrior Fitness, and she was originally an accountant by trade, and has basically shifted much of her focus over to health and wellness, teaches group fitness classes, and is doing her personal training certification, and really has a really cool personal transformation story. So I wanted to get her on tonight. She seems incredibly busy, and we kind of want to tap into some of her wellness knowledge and also maybe productivity knowledge. So welcome, Sam.
Hi, thanks, Scott. Thanks so much. Lauren, you too.
Oh, to me. What?
Yeah, she said welcome to you.
Oh, welcome. Sometimes there's a little delay with the microphone, so.
All right. Well.
No, like I said before, I'm so glad that we could connect. I really enjoy your blog, and I feel that we share just kind of a similar philosophy in terms of our belief in clean eating and being healthy and women getting strong. And if you want to just talk a little bit about what led you to start your blog and what inspired you and where you feel the journey's taking you.
Sure, great. Well, I think I will start a little bit further back than maybe most people do. I actually grew up in the city, so we didn't get to run a lot. If we wanted to go play, we had to go to the park, so we didn't go play a lot. So I was very, very inactive as a kid. I actually picked up a really bad habit of smoking when I was 15.
That's the age where it's ripe to pick it up. It's such a teenage habit.
Yes. And so, unfortunately that followed me through to college. And I finally kind of got into thinking maybe this isn't the best idea for me. Mm-hmm. So I quit before I finished school, which was great. And then I just got the bug to want to run. I was like, I ruined my lungs. What can I do? I'm going to run, which I had never done in my life. I didn't run as a kid. I didn't play sports. I didn't do any of that. So my goal was to be able to run all the way down the block and back. And that took me probably a month. I mean, it was the hardest thing I think I've ever done. And so just kind of went from there. I was like, okay, I made it a block. Can I go 2? Can I make it a whole mile? So my goal, my first year of college was to run a mile, or my first year working was to be able to run a mile before the year was over. So I went from that to now I've run a half marathon, since then. And I think it just shows that it's all about the mindset and your mentality, and, pushing yourself doesn't have to mean pain. It can be something that becomes fulfilling and rewarding. And, it really just changed my entire outlook on life when I started starting to think about what I was doing for my body and taking care of myself.
Yeah, that's really amazing too. And I love that, it was such a long-term goal for you. I think one of the things I think people get caught up in is not realizing that these are long-term goals, and you need these habits, day in, day out habits to get there. That half marathon was not overnight. It was a long time coming. You've been working towards that for a while.
Yep. So, and same thing with, healthy. I thought eating lean cuisines and,
Me too.
boxed vegetarian burgers was the answer. And I stuck with that for a long time, and I wasn't really ever full. It was just one of those, well, this is supposed to be a meal, so I guess that's all I get to eat today.
Yeah.
And then I started, reading blogs and kind of getting into thinking that there's probably a better way to fuel my body, especially when I started lifting weights. I was always hungry. And I realized how much food I could eat when it was clean. Mm-hmm. The idea of, this huge salad or this tiny little lean cuisine, it's the same calories. I'm so full after the salad or whatever it is. It just really changed how I viewed what I was putting in my body. Like, is this fueling me to get through the day? How do I feel afterwards? It really makes it a lot easier to cut that sugar and the processed stuff out when you start assessing how you feel after you eat things like that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, just the way that, I think for women especially, sort of making that transformation from, this thought process that less is more. And, that's not the case. We know that, it's not about cutting calories, right? I mean, humans were meant to consume pounds of food, and the nutrient depleted sort of edible products, right? I mean, they're not foods; they're edible products.
You're saying lean cuisine is not food? Really?
They don't really fill out the needs of food, and I think that I really hope that I love promoting women who lift, first of all, who believe that strength is really the way toward living a better life, a healthier life. And honestly, like, skinny is this, I don't know, I feel like it's a myth that it's like we want to make women smaller, right? We want to make them smaller, skinnier. I don't even know why, but stronger seems to be a much better goal. So, can you kind of talk about how you came into lifting? Because I think that's a really great thing to kind of explain to other women.
Yeah. I think I approach lifting maybe the same way a lot of other people do. I actually started my journey, when I was doing that whole trying to run a mile thing. I actually picked up a couple of DVDs, and I was doing just with handheld weights, some DVDs at home, and just in over a summer, I started getting stronger, and over the year, I was able to carry all my groceries in at once instead of struggling to get stuff out of the car. And I noticed that walking around campus or walking through, uptown, I wasn't struggling holding my bags, just things like that. And I just naturally progressed to one day I was in the gym and they were having, Lauren, I think you went to this class this week, a body pump class.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they had music rocking and I was like, I know these songs, so I just found my way over to class and, very quickly I was, trying to add more weight on, and you progress in such small little increments. It's, it's really hard at the end. You're like, I can't believe I just did that, for 4 minutes. It's an intense workout. And so I started teaching at that gym eventually. I was teaching Zumba at the time, and the instructor, she had the best body. I mean, she's just cut and fit, and there was not an ounce of fat on her, but she wasn't skinny. She was in shape. And I was like, Angie, what do you do? She was like, honey, I don't just lift these little tiny weights. I go out on the floor and I lift. And I was like, can you show me? Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, come on. I'm happy to help you. So, she's squatting 145 pounds and she's probably 110. And I was just like, holy cow. I can't believe you can do that. She's, just impossible. What it seemed to me to be impossible weight she was lifting. And she was this tiny thing. She wasn't bulky. There was no, it always gets me that people are like, I'm going to get bulky. I'm like, do you know how many calories you have to eat to get bulky?
Exactly.
You know what food you have to consume to get big like that?
Guys who do that, work so hard at it. I mean, they're throwing down tons of calories. It's so hard to get to that.
Yep.
I wish it was that easy because it is legitimately hard to put on size.
Yes. I got Dave over here bulking, quote unquote, and he's like, I gained a pound in a month. Woohoo! Because girls would only know that, So.
I love that though. I love that, you learned about it through another woman because, I mean, I learned about weightlifting through Scott, and I always feel, for the most part, you kind of have to have a trainer, a boyfriend, someone you're involved with. I mean, in your case, it was another fitness instructor. You have to kind of be shown the way, or like the door has to be opened through someone else. I think it's really cool that for you it was through another woman.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
And, I don't know about you guys. I know, Lauren, you're in a new gym now, but most of the time it's me and maybe one other girl on the weight floor.
Oh, it's the same. Yeah. Mhm. I mean, everywhere I've been.
It's so upsetting because people are there and they're there as long as I am, and they're not getting any results. They come in week in, week out, and they don't ever look any different. I'm just like, you could be doing so much for yourself if you would just get out and, try a weight out every once in a while. But you can't say anything, of course. It's not polite.
No, you can't. A lot of time people don't have the open mindset that you did. I think people are, in their routine, or that someone told them at some point they should do, the elliptical for every workout. And it takes a lot for them to be inspired to learn something new, I feel people really get into their own routine and they almost can't get out of their own way a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. But Scott, I love that, you're about empowering and, you helped Lauren. And I know, Lauren, just from reading your blog, you had some issues with your shoulder and stuff from your accident. And
right.
The fact that you still lift, even with all that, is great. I mean, most people would let that be a reason not to be in the gym.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating sometimes because, it has been a bit of a setback, and a lot of times I'll kind of have to, I definitely don't lift like the weight I'd want to be lifting because I think it's kind of hindered my progress a little bit, but I still love that it makes me feel stronger. So, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, is that I'm better than I was the last time.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I think that's pretty interesting is that you said your first goal after quitting smoking was to just get down the block, and then that took you a month. And can you sort of talk about your mindset to be able to stay with such honestly, little progress probably for how difficult it was, especially as a beginner, because I think mostly what keeps beginners in when I was doing more general fitness rather than athletes is those immediate gains. And if you don't find something that improves pretty quickly, you see a big drop off. And so you didn't have any of that. You had a crawl from the beginning. And can you just kind of talk about like your mindset, how you changed, how you worked through that?
Yeah, sure. I had done quite a toll on my body. But by the time I had quit smoking, my lungs would hurt just breathing normally. Was not taking care of myself at all. And so I think in the process of just learning how to run, I didn't want to go as fast as I could down the block and not be able to breathe at the end. I wanted to learn the process of breathing through a run, and, every time I would be done with the block or however long I decided I was going to go that day, I didn't want to feel depleted. I wanted to know that I could do it again the next time. Every opportunity, I would take my dogs with me, and it was beautiful weather at the time, and I would just say, this is what you're going to do for yourself, Sam. I committed when I quit smoking to making a better me. That was always my goal and my intention. I was going to be the best me I could be. And so every day I would just lace up my shoes, and the fact that I made it down the block, I would always just smile and go, I would never have been able to do that. It was just that mental, you're doing more than you did last time. And even if it was the same distance, maybe I did it faster, or maybe I didn't have to stop that one time, or, you know, I used to use like mailboxes or trees, like just make it to the tree, Sam, you know, you can just run to the tree. And, you know,